The two U.S. cities are closing bars, restaurants and theaters to help stem the spread of SARS-CoV-2. Meanwhile, Germany has decided to reimpose controls on some of its ports. Follow DW for the latest updates in Universal Coordinated Time, UTC/GMT 6:32. Australia's main ASX 200 index fell 537.30 points to 5,002.00, a 9.7 drop. 359. A supermarket chain in Australia will start opening its doors exclusively to customers over 60 years old for 1 hour a day. The policy is set to be implemented in an effort to ease the burden of panic buying on the most vulnerable. Woolworths supermarkets will be opening exclusively for the elderly and those with a disability to shop from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., the supermarket chain said in a statement. The policy is expected to come into effect on Tuesday and run for the rest of the week, when the idea will be re-evaluated, before being possibly extended. 343. Las Vegas has joined a number of other cities across the United States that is imposing measures to restrict contact between citizens. Casinos and hotels, including venues on the city's main strip, will close in an effort to prevent spread of the new corona. It is now apparent that this is a public health crisis that requires major collective action if we are to slow its progression, Jim Moran, chairman of Resorts, said in a statement. Accordingly, we will close all of our Las Vegas properties as of Tuesday, March 17, for the good of our employees, guests and communities. 316. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti has mirrored his New York counterpart by instructing LA's bars and nightclubs to close in an attempt to stem the spread of the new coronavirus. It is the largest ever percentage drop for the benchmark index. According to Reuters news agency, the Australian government is now contemplating scaling up its 17. Garcetti said, "I'm taking executive action to help prevent the spread of COVID-19 in LA City by closing nightclubs, restaurants, except takeout/delivery, entertainment venues and gyms until March 31 unless extended." Grocery stores will remain open. 236. For the first time in decades, China's industrial production, retail sales and investment the downturn has been blamed on the coronavirus epidemic, which has wreaked havoc on the economy, official data showed. Industrial production for January and February dropped 13.5, the first contraction in around 30 years. Meanwhile, investment has shrunk 24.5 and retail plunged 20.53. 229. New York has imposed a takeout-only policy in all its bars and restaurants. I will sign an executive order limiting restaurants, bars and cafes to food takeout and delivery, City Mayor Bill de Blasio said, and New York has already put a limit on gatherings to 500 people and therefore nightclubs, movie theaters, small theater houses, and concert venues must all close, de Blasio added. The virus can spread rapidly through the close interactions New Yorkers have in restaurants, bars and places where we sit close together, de Blasio said. We have to break that cycle. These places are part of the heart and soul of our city. They are part of what it means to be a New Yorker. $6 billion Australian dollar, $11.4 billion, 9.8 billion euros. But our city is facing an unprecedented threat, and we must respond with a wartime mentality. 216. Peru has declared a state of emergency due to the new coronavirus. The measures, which will last 15 calendar days, imply compulsory social isolation of our population, Peruvian President Martin Vizcarra said in a televised. During the state of emergency, constitutionally guaranteed rights will be reduced, Vizcarra said, specifying that citizens would only be allowed to leave their homes to access essential services. During the state of emergency, borders will be completely closed, Vizcarra said, adding that border closure will affect people but not goods. The Peruvian president said that his country has had 71 cases thus far. 02:05 Cambodia has reported a 4-month-old baby among its daily figure of novel coronavirus infection. It now has a tally of 12, up 4 on the day before. 01:22 South Korea has reported 74 new coronavirus cases. The Asian nation has been experiencing a downward trend in new cases, and the latest numbers are significantly lower than the peak of 909 cases reported on February 29 and slightly down from 76 reported. 108 The Argentinian government has announced a 15-day entry ban on all visitors to the Latin American country. At the moment we know that all of our cases are imported, and we have to do all we can to prevent the virus from transmitting locally. 609 The Bank of Japan unveiled a series of emergency monetary policies in an attempt to boost the world's third largest economy amid the coronavirus. President Alberto Fernandez said in a press conference as he announced a series of drastic measures. For the next 15 days, a period that can be extended, Argentina's borders will be closed, for nobody will be able to enter Argentina, except of course Argentinian natives or foreigners who live. Among the new measures, the president also said that schools would be closed until the end of the month and that theaters and cinemas would also remain shut. Thus far, Argentina has had roughly 50 cases and 2 deaths from the virus. 056 Following the U.S. Federal Reserve's decision to slash interest rates to salvage an economy unraveling rapidly amid the pandemic. The central bank's chair, Jerome Powell, held a press conference to explain the actions. Powell told reporters, "We thought it was quite important for us to take strong measures to support proper market functioning and He also said that it was difficult to predict the impact of the coronavirus on the economy, both in the short and long term. It's very hard to say how big the effects will be or how long they will last." The policies include expanding purchases of stock, corporate bonds and other assets. The United States Federal Reserve announced similar measures. That's going to depend of course on how widely the virus spreads, which is something that is highly uncertain and I would say, in fact, unknowable. Since Facebook, Twitter, Google+, WhatsApp, Tumblr, LinkedIn, StumbleDig, Reddit, Newsfeed, permalink:/p.dw. com/p/300:45 The Australian Capital Territory Act, home to the capital city of Canberra and the country's second most populous state, Victoria, have declared a state of emergency while large, non-essential gatherings have been banned in a bid to stem the spread after the national death toll rose. Australia has nearly 300 cases and authorities are fearing a rapid rise, hence the new measures. 039 While the rest of the globe continues to reel from the outbreak, China's downward trend of cases continues, with 16 new confirmed infections, down from 20 the previous day, the National Health Commission has said. The total number of confirmed cases in China so far is 80,860. The death toll from the outbreak is 3,230. 032 Latin America is the latest part of the world to begin to suffer from Colombia has reported 34 cases. Brazil's Soccer Confederation has suspended all competitions due to the outbreak after almost 200 confirmed infections. The news led to a slight bump in Japan's benchmark Nikkei index, which is currently trading up 0.38. While Costa Rica reported its worst day so far on 024 U.S. presidential hopeful Bernie Sanders lambasted Donald Trump's handling of their. Sanders said during his joust with fellow Democratic candidate Joe Biden that Trump needs to stop blabbering with inaccurate information about the corona. Maduro said this was the only way, there's no other option, to stem the spread. The only way to contain the channels of transmission is to enter a drastic phase of collective quarantine throughout the country.